resources.
Oh,
and
we should-
farms and mining.
Is he gonna be around for a while?
Yes, he is. He lives here in town. He's got great pictures of his trip. It'd be a wonderful story. But they were
Let's-
sure glad to get him.
Let's do that.
Yeah, I think it'd be fantastic. You know, it's part of that Real Montana program
Yeah.
he's in. It's
Yeah.
just so cool. But,
This thing, have you read it?
yeah, I read it a long time ago.
It should have been renewed. It's supposed to be renewed every 5 years.
Yeah, that's what we're gonna
Does it say
renew,
that
a lot
in
of
there?
this stuff. Like the
Yep,
air
or
quality and fire,
The CIP, that hasn't been done either.
yeah.
So it's not just a question, easy question of changing. There's a heck of a lot of things that have to.
Yeah, and who is responsible for changing that? The county commissioners or what? And then they gotta
Well,
read
they're
it to a vote.
supposed to
and-
have a, talking about it, and, of course, they don't know anything. And then you've got the community wildfire protection plan.
Yeah.
That's another thing, that
Air
was
quality.
2005.
And which one is the air quality? I couldn't find here. I found fire, but
I don't think there was anything in the.
I thought there was an
road
air
policy
quality.
about air quality.
I thought that's
The
what we wanted to
CIP,
change.
that was from 2011 to 2015,
Yeah.
and that was supposed to be renewed in 5 years. That wasn't done. So,
Are all of these things under the umbrella of the planning board?
yes, they are. They're in the planning board. I'm sorry, they're in the growth policy.
They're in the growth policy plan?
Yeah, and somebody should know about it. I talked to somebody, I'm gonna talk to Linda after. I talked to somebody else, they had a discussion about revising the growth policy in 2017, but it was just a discussion.
It was probably like, oh, we should do that?
Yeah, have a planning board. What do you think about the growth? Because there's a lot of things that are wrong that have to be updated. And so,
We gotta go through it piece by piece and really study it.
Yeah,
and,
it's
you
not-
know, do a lot.
I think we should, they didn't have a meeting, the planning board, this month. Usually they have a monthly meeting. They didn't have one this month. But I think the only way we're gonna get anywhere is if to go to the planning board and say,
Who's on the
we
planning
wanna
board?
do this.
Who is on the planning board?
Susan Hale is the chair.
That's probably, one of them gave us this probably. We went in and.
That was
No,
probably
Lin-
Linda
That was
Bork.
Linda
Oh,
Bork.
Linda.
You know that Wayne Hill, his wife, was the chair.
Oh, she's on the planning board. Interesting. I didn't know that.
Yeah, and she knows exactly what the hell is going on with Georgetown Lake and the rest of the stuff that's going on in this county. So. I don't know, do we even want to meet next month?
Why do you ask that? Because it's getting around.
It's December and we're not going to have a quorum now, I don't think. It's getting towards the end of the month.
Maybe you could set it up, and then maybe Chuck can get an idea of who's gonna be there, and if for some reason everybody isn't, maybe cancel it or something, I don't know.
What's that?
Just wanna know if you guys should meet next month.
Yeah, I'll talk about it me. I was thinking maybe we could have an ad hoc committee. This can be a big process.
Oh, brother, is it?
Have you read that, what you sent, and then just on the growth policy?
Right here, the growth,
What we
yeah.
have to do.
All that?
Yeah, what we have to do, you know, with all meetings and, you know, of course, we know we have to go to the planning board.
Oh, Chuck, like I was saying before you walked in, there's the CIP, which is the Capital Improvement Plan. That hasn't been revised, that's part of the growth policy. The wildland fires,
We're not starting yet, are we?
Yeah, that's what I say, it's gonna be a big job.
I just got,
And, you know, if we just do it in our meetings, especially if nobody shows up.
Yeah.
this is more in depth, I think. And I think we really should get with the planning board and say, hey, we need some public comments, we've got to review this thing. It's due to be revised.
How did the people that are in charge of the planning board, how did they get elected to do that position?
They're appointed.
Who appoints them?
the county commissioners.
They just come in and say, hey, I wanna be on it, and then
They have an application that they file for the boards. Hi. So,
are you guys here for public comment, or?
Possibly. My name is Tim Ravendall, and I'm with Redoubt News. And we've seen that there's some of the information being discussed locally, and we wanted to make sure that we help the people be informed of what's going on.
Okay.
Okay.
And what's your name?
Readout News, what's
Yeah.
that? What is that?
We're on the internet. That's our main source right now, but we go, we cover the Northwest. Main office is in Idaho.
And
And-
give me your last name again.
My last name is Ravendall,
Uh,
Ravndal. First name is Tim.
Okay.
And again with Redoubt News, and I cover Montana, and where the rest of our staff covers Idaho, Washington, Nevada, Oregon.
Okay. Where are you from?
I live in Townsend,
Okay.
so we're
this
just
is
kind of bouncing around and
Sylvester, he's from
hoping
the
to be able to
Phillipsburg Mail.
help people get informed of what's going on.
Okay.
And this is one of the things that we've been covering as far as management and discussions as we go forward.
Okay.
Well, are you into the coordination thing, or,
Coordination is always part of the discussion, no matter where you go, for sure. But I haven't really, again, I'm reporting for the source here, so if there's discussion today on coordination, so be it. If not, we're just here to try and get the word out to the people of how advisory committees have, positions on the local government level to keep people informed.
And I don't know if you guys noticed it, this is the first time I got it up on Facebook as an event.
And that's how I
Did you
heard
notice
about it,
that?
was I was going across
'Cause
the
I-
social media, where we do a lot of our broadcasting, and I come across the fact that you folks were meeting today, and so I thought, I'm in the area, I'm gonna wanna ask and see if I can stop by and cover your meeting. And again, it's all to help get the word out to the people of what's going on, and looking at the future is always our star that's in the sky here.
so have you been all around, like in Valley County?
Oh, I've been from Eureka to Biddle.
People talk about the smoke at all, the fires?
Oh, it depends on which side of the divide you're on. When we go northeast Montana, we find different subjects that are being talked about. And when we go up in Eureka and back in the northwest corner of the state, there's, again, a lot of discussion on smoke and forest management and utilization of resources. And, again, there's so many different areas. You could sit here and I could take up your whole afternoon talking about what it's talking about.
Put all
Oh,
on
I'm glad you
one.
saw that. Like I
So-
said, it took me a while to figure that out, how to put the event up on
Where
Facebook.
did you put it up on our Facebook?
Well, you gotta go to the Facebook page.
So if you don't mind, I'm gonna set up my
Sure.
my video camera, which again, I'm going to go ahead and just use that because I don't take notes very well,
Okay.
for
Well,
one thing.
there's a
And then when I do
plug
my
over there.
report and my story, then I can make sure it's accurate and it goes out there without me saying I'm quoting such and such, but if I use the wrong word, oh my goodness, that gets me and everybody in trouble, and I
There's
don't
a
wanna go
plug
there.
over there, that's probably the best one. I got my camera hooked up here somewhere.
Okay,
Okay.
I'll run my cord over to that plug there if you don't mind.
And then it's supposed to go up on, I guess on the web page, on the Facebook page, and then it goes out to everybody. Whoever's associated with the,
I haven't been on it for a while. I better.
well, then you didn't get it.
I didn't.
So there,
So if you click, you're interested in the event, then it'll come to you then?
no, you gotta put it up, like the next event, or is there event, and it's like an invitation, you've seen that, haven't you? You invite people to come to the,
You haven't heard any more about this, have you? Our Senate bill? It's just kind of back there and nothing's happening.
glad you're here. I'm not sure we're gonna have a quorum.
How many do we have? Four,
Uh,
okay, at least four.
Well, let's get started.
All right.
Okay, introductions, I'm Chuck Hinkle.
Patty Candich.
Elena Gagliano.
Scott Sylvester, Bird Mail, for the record.
Heidi Hinkle.
Chuck Weiser. Okay, approval on minutes. I don't have a hard copy.
I draw it. I can get the computers to work, but it's here, so.
Anybody have a problem with that?
Did you?
You have to tell me, let me know, because I try to follow, yours, but I'm not, I'm not so fast.
The only thing I noticed was at the very end, it said the next meeting will be October 14th.
I did.
I didn't catch that.
I better look.
Instead of November 14th.
Good eye, good eye.
Yeah, I'll look.
Well, you're trained to do that. Yes, your
Yeah,
business.
you're
so.
trained.
No, I was looking to make sure I had
You're
the
an
right date
editor.
to show up here.
Chuck made
You
it.
must be a newspaper guy. Okay, so we're gonna change that?
Yeah, I'll look at the.
We're still discussing the secretary position. You don't want to do that?
No.
Make a motion to
Yep.
approve the minutes, other than that.
Okay, I'll fix it and print out a new one. So did we approve or are we
I
gonna?
make a motion to approve it. Okay, discuss the secretary position, and unfortunately Sue isn't here, and she has good input on that.
Is she going to be our secretary, you think?
No, well, they're gonna split it.
What do you feel about that? I think it's a good idea to split it, if you wanted to continue being,
No, I don't want to be,
no correspondence,
I don't want to do it.
but you do it anyway.
You
Not
inform
really.
us a lot. You do, Elena.
I don't want to be, have to have that,
Title?
yeah, and that I'd have to do it, so.
Well, maybe we should just have what do you call it?
A vote on,
The correspondence secretary. Am I the correspondence? See, what's the other one called? Recording? No.
Yeah, you're not even a
Did-
member.
For video or audio, could I
Sure.
play that?
Oh, yeah.
Sorry for being a pain, folks. Thank
It
you.
still goes back to the point, we don't even know what the secretary's position is. We don't know what they do. No discussion with the commissioners. Commissioners seem like they don't care. For the record, I think I said it last time, and I'll say it again. I think they're just pacification for the environmental groups, and that's it. I didn't bring it, but I guess the Granite County, what do they call themselves? They're having a meeting today too, and I get their agenda, and you see, most of the discussion is with the Forest Service, locally, the state, Fish and Game. Well, we don't have anybody. There's a whole bunch of stuff that is going on here in Granite County, and when I was going to the commissioners' meetings, they were discussing Fish and Game and Forest Service. They were having their discussion with the commissioners, but nobody tells us about what's going on. I think I sent you something, wasn't it? About they had a meeting somewhere with Lowell National Park, Missoula was there and everybody, and
No, I don't remember that.
well, I should have brought a copy.
When was it, in August or something?
No, it was just a little while ago,
Anyway, so
so I got a problem with that one.
we have another problem, that Heidi isn't actually a member of this committee. She was just doing this to keep us going.
And I still think she should get paid a salary, because they paid Becky Smith a salary when she was gonna take the minutes, and
Right.
they approved
Well,
that,
I'm
and
gonna
they
go
don't
to,
wanna
I
pay
will
this.
go to the commissioners now.
That's right, so I'm, for the
And
record,
talk about a budget.
and it should be in the, that's
And I
right.
was going to suggest maybe like $2,000 to start, or $2,500.
A month, I agree.
Hmm?
A month, I agree.
A month?
think it's yearly.
Heck, I'll do it for 2,000.
But you're not as certain.
No, I mean, that's not
County.
just for the secretary.
I know.
That's just a budget.
You know, that's just a
Yeah.
budget, you know, for travel or whatever.
Yeah.
And it still goes back to copying the stuff, you know? I mean, I could have made copies, why should I do that? I've got all this stuff. Do we have to go inside and make copies again? You know, like the minutes, we should have had copies of it.
I sent
You know,
them,
to
but you want a
share.
hard copy one? Is that
Well,
what you're
yeah,
saying?
or, you know, well, here's the bylaws. Do you have a copy of the bylaws? That's the
Chuck
next
does.
thing.
He does.
Oh, you have copies to hand out?
Not to hand out.
There you
don't.
go.
No.
Scotty isn't here today to go run him off.
So, that's for the record. Okay, thank you.
So, did you guys want to vote on the amount that Chuck will go to the commissioners with for the budget? I mean, do you have to do that? So you can go and do it rather than wait till next?
Well, I
month?
make a motion that the secretary should get a salary.
No,
Or whatever you call
We'll
it.
take care of that after we get a budget, okay?
Well, I'm
I thought
making
you
a,
were-
we're talking about the position. So I'm making a motion that it should be a paid position, and that should go to the commissioners again. You don't agree, that's fine.
All those in favor?
I guess not, doesn't pass.
We'll talk about it after we get the budget. Go ahead and see that. Okay, well, I still don't know what we're doing with this.
So the budget, is that where you're at?
No, for the secretary position.
Well, I'll do the, recording part, and I guess she's right, we need to have some sort of a job description, if I'm supposed to make copies, maybe that's something I should do here, that type of thing, I don't know.
And I think we still should have something on the Granite County webpage. I mean, we don't work for the commissioners. Yeah, they appointed us, but this is Granite County, and it's a committee, and we talk about Granite County.
Well, we're missing two people here that know about that stuff. Margie, she was gonna check into it, and
I thought it said, she
Sue.
said that last time that she couldn't be on there, let's see. I don't know, maybe I'm wrong.
I kind of remember something like this.
Because it is a Granite County website. It's not a Granite County Commissioners website. Do you agree? You're the newspaper?
One would think that if it was a Granite County website, that a Granite County Forest Advisory Committee could carve out one small corner someplace.
I think.
All the committees should be on it. So this way you
yeah,
get
but
a
once again, we're
place
gonna
to
throw all
go.
this stuff on Heidi, and she's not even a member of the group. I mean, she's not a member of the committee. We're throwing everything over here.
I'm not throwing it to her. I made we should discuss this, and then we should have something on the website so we can have all this information where people can go to and we can look at it.
Well, yeah, I
Why
agree.
should it be up
I
to
agree.
her to send everything email to everybody individually? We should have a place that it goes on the website and people go to the website and
Who's
get
gonna
it.
put it on the website?
Well, I remember Margie was gonna check into that, didn't, she could, and they told her that the only thing that could be on there was the agenda. That's what I thought. I'm not sure if I'm saying it right.
Well, if you want to get a breakdown of the committees, you have to go through the administrator, Mike Cahill, and then he'll send you a copy. So if he can send you a copy, he can put it up on the website.
I just can't, it might have been the one before this.
Or maybe we can get all that straightened out come January.
What's that?
Maybe we can get that all straightened out come January when you're a commissioner.
Maybe.
I don't want to tie you guys up, but just a real quick question, if I could. When was your advisory committee created, and is your bylaws, I guess, what you're looking at for your answers here, they're current, and when were they last amended or what is the current status of
I
that.
thought it was August 21st that you guys were that you guys were created.
We just had the final copy in August.
But it
Well,
was signed
it's actually
in August.
September.
August
We
of this
started
year.
it last spring,
Okay.
and it took us that long to get approved.
Okay, again, I'm just trying to make sure we're on the front page. Thank you.
And
Oh,
we're,
okay.
we're gonna look at the final on our bylaws at this meeting.
I'm sorry, Tim, there is a place for public comment, so you can ask your
Oh, I'm
questions
sorry, I
then.
just want, I apologize if I interrupted.
That's okay, thank you.
Okay, so I guess we're gonna have to put the secretary position off again. And I think Heidi puts in enough time on this, you know, I mean, I see what she does.
Well, maybe I was smart and all that information stayed in my head.
I know, that's hard to do that.
I'm just not, everything in there that's out.
That's harder than doing a letter to the editor, because you got,
So I'm gonna move on. Any objections? Okay, we're gonna discuss the chair position, my position, and I don't think it needs to change. If you guys, it depends on what you people want.
I want you to say that, I think,
Yeah, me too.
yeah, I'm for that.
So I think we'll carry on like that.
Okay.
And I don't know if Scott will be attending as a commissioner rep anymore. I don't know.
So, are you gonna continue to be the chair? Well, you are until January.
But it depends on you guys, if you want me to keep on.
I would like you to keep on.
I don't know if you could,
I don't think there's any reason why I can't, but,
because you can't be a voting member or anything, just like Scott can't be.
well, I could sit it out, I could do a, yeah, it wouldn't have to be a voting member.
Scott didn't try to be part of our member though, did he? He never applied for it, you know, did he? He just
I
sets
don't know if it
in.
would be a conflict of interest, because you're gonna be on the commissioners making a decision, and you're gonna be here also making a decision. So I think we need clarification, probably in January, unless you wanna go to the next commissioners meeting.
And then we'll talk
Just
about it.
ask Blaine if it's a conflict of interest.
What's
I
that?
think
Oh,
it-
that's a good idea.
Yeah, Blaine. I think it'd be great, because
Good
everything we
idea.
learn here, you're gonna take up to there, and you're gonna be there and explain what we want, and
That's a good idea.
so.
Blaine is helpful, so he'll know.
It just avoids any complications down the road.
That's right.
Is Blaine here today?
Yeah, he's inside.
Which office is he?
He's on the end.
I was gonna say I could run in and ask him, or I could ask him afterwards.
Be kinda nice to know
Yeah,
right now, though,
yeah,
to settle it,
yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
Why don't you,
just-
let's do it.
Maybe he can come in with something. Don't
Yeah.
talk too much while
He's
I'm-
been
Even if
pretty
it was,
good.
it wouldn't be a conflict of interest.
Yeah,
Right.
Yeah,
it's not
But
that
at least
far
we'll
away.
know. At least we'll know.
only one more meeting.
Yeah.
Did you go to the meeting yesterday? To the commissioners' meeting?
No,
Oh, I thought they would welcome you and stuff.
oh. We'll do it next meeting. No, I had to go to town yesterday.
Man, we get sworn in the end of December.
Mhm.
Where did they do that at? In the,
Clerk and recorder's office.
oh, in the clerk and recorder, okay. Well, just think you'll go down in history now. Granite County will always know you were a county commissioner. Here he comes.
I'll let you guys ask him, explain it.
How's it going?
Good.
Good. We're just wondering whether I could continue on as chair of this committee next year.
So, I guess that would be a decision for the commission to make as a whole, and if that's gonna be the case. My understanding that Scott wasn't a member, not a voting member, so, yeah. so
And he
that
didn't
would have to-
apply to be either.
Yeah,
You know, he just
so-
sat in.
Yeah, probably, and be the commission's decision, but probably something where you'd be the liaison then, or the commissioner member attending.
I think that'd be
So
great.
so I shouldn't be the chairman then?
Well, it's fine for right now, but yeah, till then, yeah, till January.
That's what we figured.
Yeah, that sound good? So.
But how about after January, can he
So
still,
that he would be probably the commissioner's representative coming to these meetings,
but couldn't
and then-
vote or anything like
but
that?
it wouldn't vote.
And be our chair?
And, yeah, it wouldn't be the chair at that point.
So would that be a conflict of interest?
No, it wouldn't be a conflict. I mean, if the commission wanted you to be a member, they could do that, but, they'd probably listen to what you guys are recommending to them, so.
Because I don't
Yeah.
see where there's a conflict. How could there be a conflict?
Yeah, so it would just,
Yeah.
you just need to be, a member of the, that would be in the bylaws, and they could be put in the bylaws, but, yeah, you guys should discuss it and then make the recommendation to the county commission. It's,
It's hard to pick a new chairperson, you know, not everybody wants that
Yeah,
position,
I-
so.
yeah, so.
Would you like to be the secretary?
So.
How about Miss Claudette? Yeah, ask Miss Claudette. Miss Claudette, come in here.
So, yeah, so probably, yeah, something for, you guys to discuss and then make the recommendation to the county commission. You guys be looking at it, I guess, as yourself, so. Yeah.
So we get it on the agenda, sometime?
Yeah, that'd be a good idea. The county commission's agenda, yeah. That'd be good, even in December, whenever works for you guys.
Yeah, I think that should be discussed before the end of the year.
So is it that we're discussing whether he can just be if he could be a member or not?
Or the chairperson after
The chair.
January, continue
Because
on
they
as
Yeah.
our
make the
chair.
Decision.
Yeah, so, well, I think, be this body's decision, if you're a member, if you could be the chair. So I think the recommendation you guys should make is if you think you should be, still remain a member of this committee. So, and commission. Where are you at with your bylaws? That's still a working document?
No, they're pretty much finalized.
Okay.
We're gonna look at them.
So I think that would be an issue for your bylaws as well, if a member of the county commission could be a member of the committee. Could be, added in.
Okay,
So,
thanks.
any other questions?
Well, you can stay around.
And then one thing I'll do as well is look up the legalities of being a member of the, just to double check that, but, that's it, yeah. Okay.
Wrong bylaws.
And has there been bylaws approved, or just kind of a working document that you're?
Well, they're basically approved, but we had a few changes.
Okay.
And Sue sent a copy that she made the changes that we discussed last month.
Okay.
So they're pretty much done, but we can revise it.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, yeah, you got it.
Oh,
Yeah.
this is,
Oh, okay,
this is the new one.
okay.
This-
Yeah, okay, yeah. Okay. Any other questions for me?
Nope.
I'll stick around if you want me to.
Oh.
You can come talk to me.
He
if you have
enjoys
more
our
questions.
Thank you.
Yeah.
You're always
Yeah.
welcome, Glenn.
Yeah,
All right.
there's a place for it.
Free candy next time.
Any more discussion on that then?
Okay, one question I had, if it is to be on the agenda, who is gonna go talk to the commissioner and put it on the agenda?
Oh, I imagine I'll go talk to commissioners. I gotta go talk to them.
Okay.
So we'll take that back up in, next month. Okay, discuss the Granite County growth policy. You know, I was looking at this, and this seems to be a big job, like I was telling you.
Oh my gosh,
Earlier.
it's, oh, man.
You know, and it looks like section 3 is what we have to,
What page is that on?
amend first.
You know, these were the last ones she had. Did they have some new ones made up, do you know? Cleaned her out.
But I was going to suggest that we have maybe an ad hoc committee. I don't think we can get it done in our monthly meeting.
Oh, it's too much.
Because it's like this meeting, you know, 3 people don't show up. And, you know, I mean, we'd have to go through each.
Well, for the record, I think we should meet with the
Planning board?
planning board for sure.
Yeah.
It has, in the growth policy, page 57, growth policy plan revision coordination, conditions for growth policy plan revision. It hasn't been revised since 2012. It's supposed to be reviewed every 5 years. I don't know what happened. The last page of the growth policy is sort of like a timeline. And timetable for implementation, which is kind of, there's different resolutions for different years. I don't see anything that happened in 2017 about a discussion or a public hearing. There's a lot of things that are wrong, like you said, Chuck. There's a lot of things that are wrong with the growth policy. Not wrong, but it should be updated.
Can you name one that is?
Well, how about the fact that there's a CIP involved, which is the capital improvements plan, and that's part of the growth policy.
What does that do?
Well, it's in there. It tells you. Granite County has developed and adopted a capital improvements plan. I'm taking it. This is on page 55. That identifies current needs for improvements in county roads, law enforcement, fire protection facilities, and other services. The CIP sets priorities among those identified needs, estimate costs for each capital need, and propose probable funding sources. And it's kind of interesting, I didn't copy it all, about the CIP. But it was the first time in, I guess, 2011 that they passed it. And it's really interesting if you read a copy of it. This is on the Granite County website. It went from 2011 to 2015. There's a letter explaining it. In 2010, they hired somebody to write it all up. And that should be updated. It talks about a whole bunch of stuff.
But we aren't here to update the whole growth policy.
No.
We're just dealing with the forest end of it, you know, the
Well, if
air
you're gonna
quality
do,
and all
if you're
that.
gonna do, there's no air quality in there. If you're gonna update, I'm saying it's time for an update and a revision.
Yeah, but
So we
we
might
aren't,
as well
we
do-
aren't doing that. You know, we aren't hired to do that. It's
No,
just
I
forest.
agree with both of you. It needs to be done.
Yeah,
and-
but not-
But we have to focus on our resource.
Yeah,
you
in
know,
in this.
You know,
Yeah.
if the city or somebody else wants to do, I was gonna make a suggestion that wants to do the whole thing or other parts, we should support them. But I don't think we should, I mean, we got a big
It
job.
gives more of the reason why
Hmm?
we should be dealing with this, the planning board should be doing this and bringing it up to the commissioners. And bringing it up to the commissioners. Yeah, we want to add something, but it is time that the growth policy be changed.
Exactly.
You know, that's all I'm saying. That gives more
I agree.
weight to
I
doing
agree.
something
But
with
but
it.
as far as we're concerned, I think we should just focus on the resource stuff. Because, I mean, if we get into
All the other stuff.
everything else, we'll
Be overwhelmed.
be overwhelmed,
You know,
totally
really.
overwhelmed.
And then is the wildfires going to be a part of it? 'Cause-
Exactly.
That's.
Well,
what
that's
it
something
is.
else that we've got to talk about too.
Exactly.
That's
And,
why we're doing this.
Anyway, that's why I was gonna suggest, maybe if we could have a committee, an ad hoc committee, and I don't care who was on it, I probably wouldn't be on it, but, and to take each page, to know where to insert all this stuff, this resource stuff, because You know, I was looking over it, I don't really know, you know.
That's why you gotta work with the planning board, because they're the ones that set up this.
Well, I think we're
this
gonna have
thing.
to take the lead on the planning board for the resource, I would think. I don't think that, because we have the passion for it, we have the,
That's why,
and the know-how, you know, the resources. So I think we have to take the lead on that, so we have to come up with our recommendations. But it's
Well,
gonna
I don't know
take,
what
I
their
think it's gonna take
recommendations.
more than just a monthly meeting like this.
I don't know what our recommendation, you got the Community Wildfire Protection Plan, 2005, did you read that?
Exactly, I mean, I
Yeah,
totally
so-
agree, I totally agree.
So how do we put anything in there if we don't know what we're doing?
That's why we have to have this ad hoc committee to
To do what?
To look at the
to
resources.
get down and look at it and work at it, right, you know, as a group, whoever's on it, and say, okay, we want to put air quality here, we want to add air quality here, and we want to
that's
do.
what Carrie White told us to do.
Yeah,
you
and
know.
do forest management here, we want roads open for the elderly, for recreation and stuff, we want to stick that in here, you see, at different places. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah. Now, once we make our recommendations, do the Granite County people vote on this like we did before?
Yeah, it'll be a whole public thing.
It'd be a
Yeah.
public meeting.
Yeah,
So they get to vote
It's
on
not just between
the
us and the
updates and all
commissioners.
that, yeah,
yeah.
yeah. I remember the last time we did the growth policy, it's really sad. A lot of the people in the natural resource industry in Granite County paid no attention to it, didn't vote on it, you know. So it's never really accurate of what's happening in our county, because just like voting, what, 50% of people come out to vote. So it's really sad
Well, I
that they
hate
don't.
to say it, but it has to do with UN Addendum 21. You know,
Yeah,
Sue's not
yeah,
here.
yeah,
Big time.
yeah.
And the American Planning Board was involved with the growth.
Oh, I remember that.
Yeah. And there was so much controversy with it that the commissioners who can approve it gave it to a vote to the people. And there was big stipulations in it at that time.
And most people don't know what's going on with land policy.
And that's why it has to have, you know, if we're gonna do something with it, people have to know what we're
We
doing.
might be smart to really get more involved in that and, you know, to
But
really.
that's what I'm
let
saying.
that- Yeah.
It's.
Not leave it up to other people that could really change our whole scope of things here in Granite
Oh, yeah.
County.
So would you agree to having an ad hoc committee, that people can get together and
So we'll have
work-
another
and-
meeting a month doing
Mhm.
this, besides this meeting monthly?
Besides this meeting, then they'd come to this meeting and present it to everybody else, and we go from there. Because I just don't see how we're gonna do this in this committee, you know, for 1 hour a
Well, you
month.
could do it, but it'll take forever.
Yeah, it takes forever.
And then you have that network, right, the Montana Forest Service Collaborative Network?
So what's the area of the growth policy that you think would, just, you know?
I like this one the best, Montana Stewardship Foundation.
What is,
Well, see, that's
It's
somebody
better,
that
it's
we
better
can-
than the other one, because the other one is so full of,
See, and those people know what they're
Section
doing,
three.
and we can discuss it and meet with them and
Section
stuff like that and get ideas rather than not just us sitting around doing stuff.
but the collaboration groups are full of environmental groups. And they're getting,
Try to-
no.
But you just said you like that one.
I like this
No,
one
what we
because
want.
it has Montana
Yeah,
Logging
this.
Association, a lot
Okay,
of
well,
woods
that-
products.
that's what I'm saying.
And all of them, even the
But
ones that
it's
Sue
like I
likes
said,
is
they
in
don't
this
want
one. You know, I like this group.
yeah,
But
So how
they
many
sit around and they
sections?
talk. But it's the Forest Service.
What are we doing now? We talk, and we don't even know what we want to put in the
Yeah.
thing.
Okay,
You know, this is something new for all of us. We don't have anybody
yeah.
that know, that actually,
anybody want to make a motion to have an ad hoc committee? They can meet a couple
It
times
helps
a
us
month.
with this, it goes through, breaks it
It
down.
breaks it down,
And there's got, like Bill
Exactly.
Antonelli would be great on the mining end of
Yeah,
it. He would be
exactly.
great for an ad hoc. And like ranchers, get someone in on that, some ranchers,
Well, you can get,
you
yeah,
know,
you can get
with-
other people in.
and some timber people
Can we
and,
get other people?
see, that's the economy part of the growth policy.
That's real
Yeah,
important.
public safety, air quality, water quality, that's one part. The economy is another part. Timber industry, mining, that's the economy. So we're talking almost about this whole thing.
Well, yeah,
Yeah.
but not affordable.
Do you think we could get people to want to be on this ad hoc committee? It's hard to get people to
Well,
want
I
to.
mean, we could just have the members of the committee,
Yeah.
you know, if
Like
nobody
me.
else wanted it, yeah. if
Like
nobody
I
else
could
wanted to be-
represent the timber
if no-
industry.
nobody else wanted to do it, I mean, just, you know, 3 or 4 people of this
Bill,
committee
this committee
could sit there
represents
and,
All right.
So
Well,
you
we
wanna
better
have-
do that, or someone else is gonna do it for us, you know? Yeah, so I think you got a good idea, really. We better fight for this county, yeah. I can make a motion that we get ad hoc to help us with this program, you know, to,
I think you'd have to have a committee within the committee.
yeah, that's kind of what we're doing.
Yeah.
isn't it?
Yeah, not a ad hoc, it's
All
gotta be a
in favor?
committee.
Okay,
And then we're gonna have people assigned to the committee to work on this.
okay, so we have you and I,
For what? Doing this?
the committee.
I don't know.
Hmm?
I don't know.
Lena, you know everything about this.
Yeah, I know too much to think we're gonna accomplish anything.
Well, if we get started, we
Yeah,
will.
you gotta just start.
Yeah. You know, I don't even see how the county commissioners could even, you know, this is overwhelming.
They don't.
No, yeah.
For the record, they don't, unless it's brought to their attention, and if the right people with credentials bring something to their attention, we can forget about it.
I remember when this came out, they
Well,
sent out.
another thing, when we had Carrie White come, that was to discuss coordination. Did the commissioners show up? No. That was for their benefit, basically.
Well, one
That
of them.
shows you how, because he had
And
to.
one of them will carry it on.
For the record, they're not interested, the other two that we have now. And that's why they don't know anything about this.
I think things are gonna change, though,
I think so.
with Chuck up there. They'll hear about it.
Is that
So,
okay?
yeah, we hope, yeah. You're not gonna turn against us, are you?
So anyway, so this committee thing dies then?
I think we should have more people here to, maybe another discussion.
Should we put it till next time then? Decide we're gonna.
We can have the committee then, who's gonna be
Okay,
on
I'll
the
table it
committee?
till next time.
How many is on the planning board? Just 2, did you say?
No, there's a whole bunch of people on the planning board.
Is it in here, or the list of the,
I
I guess this is
think
old, so it
on the
wouldn't be on
first
that.
page, they'll give you an idea of who's on the planning board, who was on the planning board.
When
then.
they made
That's
it.
the same one.
Oh, prepared by, county commissioner, prepared by.
Yeah, and this would be like the planning board at that time.
Oh, okay, she's still on.
He's on.
How about
Ron Spade
Pritchard,
is
how about
on.
Pritchard? CJ?
No, he's
Pritchard.
not on.
Oh, Tom Sanders, oh, I remember when he was on that,
Right,
yeah.
yeah, so those are the ones.
Oh, okay, and John Spade, did you say he's still on?
Mhm.
Oh, there's quite a few on there.
Yeah, and Gail, the mayor from Drummond,
Leaper?
Gail, what's her name?
Leaper?
Leaper, right, she's on it too.
And John McDonald, he's probably not on it.
Okay, can we move on here?
Yep.
Okay, discuss NEPA, MEPA, air quality. I don't have anything.
We lived in California, we'd be talking about
Oh,
it,
yeah.
you know, it's so terrible.
Other than to put it on the growth policy.
Yeah, we want to do that. Yeah. But, you know, Sue brought up a very good point when we talked about air quality. Right away, she went after the loggers that burn off, you know, their slash piles. We want to make it very plain that when we talk about people burning in Granite County, it's not the ranchers burning up irrigation ditches in their fields, getting rid of, you know, or people burning firewood in their stove for keep warm, or loggers burning off slash. This is forest fire that, you know, could be been put out and just burning and creating all that
Oh, yeah.
smoke for months and months.
Yeah,
We want to make
way
that very
more.
plain, we're not going after
No,
the other
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah.
Because she's the one that brought it up, like, yes, but you loggers, you burn off and make a lot of smoke too. you know.
yeah.
So we want to make sure we don't hurt people like that.
Okay, we'll move on to the bylaws, and they were updated. Did anybody look at it?
I looked at it before they were up.
Yeah, well, Sue corrected what we had. So, anybody want to make a motion that we accept the bylaws? And we can change the bylaws and we can add to them later.
I can make a motion that we accept the bylaws.
I'd second it.
And we can change things later if it's
All those in favor?
fine.
Well, does that date, September 12th, have to be changed? Because that was the same date on the one before. That was confusing me with which one was the updated one. So what is September 12th, should that be
Would that need to be changed?
to November? The date that we accepted.
Maybe it should be
You can change
today.
Because if you know, what I got from Sue, I was confused. They both said September 12th, and I didn't know which one was the updated one. So this is the one we're accepting, November 14th.
Today.
Okay.
That's when it's accepted.
it. So, all those in favor of accepting the bylaws, say aye.
Aye.
Right.
No,
Did you say no?
I said no,
Why?
because I don't care for it. I did more research and I don't care for it.
Well,
Well, Steve, give us a reason.
It's too similar to other stuff that I read recently regarding sustainable development and what they're passing in other counties. Helena,
Well, did you-
Montana,
did
it was
you-
brought
did-
to my attention, Helena, Montana is going through a really big mess over there. And it has to do with the growth policy and the bylaws of this. I'm the only one that said no. So that's the way I feel. Not to cause trouble, I just don't agree
can I
with
read
it.
that?
I just wonder if, maybe a little later, like you said, you can make changes later. Maybe you can, comment.
Yeah.
We need, this should be in it, and then we change it later, when you come up with better information.
Let's do that next time and get this taken care of, because I don't want like any,
Because we're not really talking about stakeholders and working group and all this other stuff. It seemed-
Okay, the vote's 3-1.
Okay, I'm sorry, you asked what I was saying. But there. I'll talk to you later about that.
New business. Any new business?
something about old business. I'm sorry we didn't get up to the woods. It just started raining really bad, and they didn't want us to go in to ruin the roads, so we'll have to put that off another time.
I put something up on, I have a copy of it, but again, I only made one copy, but I did put it up on the Facebook page. It's Massive California Fires Are Unnecessary. And it was an article by Barry Clausen, and he used to be involved with the U.S. Fire Service in Ennis, Montana. So he wrote an excellent article, and I did put it up on the Facebook page, and I have a copy of it here. Somebody wants that.
Yeah, until the media gets it, nothing's gonna change.
It's on Facebook, isn't it, a lot of that fire, it just,
Well, until the media stops glorifying what they're doing, it's gonna continue.
I'll tell you what California needs to do, is get rid of the Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals, that every time a forced sale is litigated, it's right there in that court. And that's why state land, you know why state lands don't get litigated? Because they're settled in Montana. And we usually win. But the federal fire goes all the way down to Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals. And everyone, about 75% of all their court cases are overturned in the Supreme Court. That just shows you how wacky they are down there.
Well, didn't they have something to do with hardback as far as the clearing the forest and stuff, Forest Service allowing the timber to be taken down and
Who?
stuff? The Forest Service, something about the fires cleaning up, they're collecting all the wood and stuff.
I don't know.
Oh, see, that's we don't know, but they met with the county commissioners about it.
To clean it up?
Yeah, cut down the timber and
Yeah,
stuff.
they're doing that now. But all the new timber sales are being stopped again. You know,
Yeah,
down
but
from
I
the-
mean, even that with clean up and stuff.
Yeah. Oh, you mean they stopped even that and litigated it?
No, I'm just saying that they had a conversation with the county commissioners, and we should have been involved with that
Oh.
discussion. But we weren't,
I see.
that's what I'm saying.
Because it had to do with forest management, didn't it?
Aren't we the Forest
Yes, we
Service?
are.
Thank you.
Yes, we-
Any other new business? Public comment?
I guess I do have a couple of questions if I could. Back here earlier. So your road policy that you have now in front of you that you discussed for adoption, I just for clarification, was it tabled, was it passed to accept? Because I couldn't hear that.
It's tabled.
It's tabled for right now, due to updates on it?
We discuss it next month.
Okay, and you do meet once a month?
Yeah.
Okay.
Second
Other
one.
question I have, is there anyone on the board that is representing the Forest Service, being this is a natural resource advisory type committee, or is it just citizens?
No.
See, that's a good question, because we invited somebody from Forest Service, and they're too busy to come, so.
BLM or Forest Service, or one of the
Fire
agencies that are in
Service.
natural resource management?
I'm
That's-
ex-Forest Service, so.
I see, okay. Last but not least, I guess I would just ask if you folks have anything that you'd like me to know, that just covering this genuine committee meeting that's trying to make sure that they do the right thing for the people of Granite County. I'd like to hear from you. Oh, one last question. And I hate to be nitpicking on this particular issue, but the bylaws, which are the governing document for what you guys do and can't. Last question on that. Has everyone that's on the board actually seen the latest version of the bylaws for discussion today? Or is there, because I guess I asked it.
I would doubt that. They were just put out on the computer like yesterday, or this morning, I can't remember what. And I printed off a copy
Did
Okay.
Sue? Did she-
from Sid.
Yes, yeah.
And I'm just perfectly honest in front here, the gentleman on the end down there, I thought I saw a motion where he hasn't really looked at it. So that's why I asked the question.
It's been kind of going back and forth,
I
and we've
see.
been making changes on it. so.
Okay.
And we might have to make another change.
Okay. Again, I'm sorry for digging in deeper than much, but it's really the foundation of the committee.
No,
So
but
that's
that's a
why I
good
asked the
point.
question.
We just got it yesterday, and, you know, like I said, I started reading it, and it just rang a bell with other stuff that I've seen, and I'm not comfortable with it, so.
Thank you
Well,
for
we
your
can
time.
make changes and we really look into it.
And maybe that everybody else is here too.
You had a red
Well,
flag go
you've
up.
seen
on
a lot
something.
of other committees, so any suggestions, I think everyone here definitely would like, would appreciate, since you've been around looking at all the others.
He's been around the block, right? Different places.
Again, I personally thank you guys for sitting at the table and working to be able to get the best out for the people of Granite County, because we often miss that at local government, because it comes from the top down instead of local up where it needs to be.
Oh, exactly, yeah.
Thank you.
Well, thank you, for coming, because we do have the Phillipsburg mail, and he does a good job putting stuff in. But it's something that should go other places, because I think it's affecting all of Montana, not just
Affecting
Granite
the
County.
west, you
Yeah.
know, every
Yeah.
state.
So,
If I may ask a question here, excuse me, in July, I attended the commissioners' meeting, and the question of your committee came up. I asked if they were going to have something put in there into the budget, and Commissioner Slaughter said that they weren't going to put anything in, that if you guys were going to have a budget, you would come up with it and present it to the commissioners. To my knowledge, it went all the way through the budget approval process. A budget wasn't submitted by your committee, and therefore you have no budget for the following year, so you wouldn't be authorized to spend any money. If you want to have a budget, they have to go through a separate process where they can't exceed their appropriations, so they have to go in and they have to reduce some other budgets, have a meeting with you and put up your budget in. So I would really recommend, especially since it seems like you're going to have expenditures, that you get a budget put together and submit it to the commissioners for their approval. I don't want to see you get into the same situation like Annie Young. She spent money that she shouldn't have been spending, and it caused one hell of a rift. So I would really recommend that you put a budget together and submit it to the commissioners.
Couple of other suggestions, if I might. I recall, I was going through some notes from Kerry White's visit recently, and one thing that he did mention was that should be in the growth policy plan is if there are any requirements that the Forest Service may have for collaboration. You don't want to get to the point where you're ready to sit down with them and then find out that there's something missing from the growth policy plan that they would require in order to be able to sit down with the commissioners. So it might be a good idea to check with Cameron or even Kerry White himself, who might have some experience with items that the Forest Service might require in order to be able to sit down and discuss things. The other thing I might suggest to save you some time and frustration is not to be worried too much about where to place certain items in the growth policy plan. I think you might be able to solve that by coming up with your recommendations and ideas and then sitting down with the county planner, Linda Bork, and she would probably have a very good idea as to where they would fit best. So I think
what we want.
this committee should probably focus on what it does best, and that's develop recommendations for what the concerns are.
And I'm sure they would like those too.
Yeah, and then you could sit down with Linda Bork, decide where these amendments need to be placed in the growth policy plan before even going to the planning board. Because what they're going to have to do once these recommendations are proposed to them is they're going to have to hold a public hearing anyways. So, and then there'll be room for additional comment at that point.
Yeah.
So that might be an easier process. But I'd check with Linda and see if she thinks that's a good idea.
Well, let's go back to that budget again.
Jackie's got one.
Just a quick clarification question one more time. I'm sorry for asking this, but I am aware of of 4 counties in the state of Montana that have entered into coordination, since that's on the table right now.
Excuse me, are you talking coordination or collaboration?
Coordination.
All right.
Totally two different
All
things.
right,
We got the
yes.
3 Cs, and coordination is the one that I'm referencing at this point. There are
Okay.
4 counties that have engaged directly into coordination, which is a requirement by law of the Forest Service once your local government moves forward with that request for coordination status. So what I'm asking is that kind of the direction that Granite County is looking at in getting into the coordination aspect, rather than the latest move by not only Forest Service, but several organizations that are at the table to push for the collaboration.
Coordinate.
And you know, in my experience as a logger, as being involved in it, we have found that the 3 Cs are there, and the ones part, which is coordination, which I'm referring to here, is actually the partner to cooperation. And a lot of times what happens with the agencies, in my experience, is they love to have the cooperating agency status. And if you've been with the Forest Service, you understand what that is. And what happens is the cooperating agency status becomes the rule of the law, if you will, and coordination is put under the rug. And so then you don't have that seat at the table until the end of the process, which ruins the whole purpose of coordination. So I just wanted to bring forward the fact that if you folks are going forward with coordination, language in your growth policy, you made a statement about collaboration being part of that
A lot of people
growth
get
policy.
confused.
They fit
They
really
do.
well together, and if you don't
Yeah.
put that in documentation, it gets run over by the freight train.
I got a question for you. In the counties you've seen where these groups are using coordination with the Forest Service, have they been successful?
There's been 7 counties in the United States that have been very successful with coordination
7 counties and what?
in the United States.
That's all? 7?
Most people are being basically run over, most counties, and I will say counties, are being run over by the process of either the cooperating agency status, which is the preferred process by the federal government. That puts them in the lead chair. They hold thousands of meetings across the country, come to the local government for a plan and say, what do you think? You've already been lost in the scoping side of things, you've already been lost in the decision-making process, and anything that you have local, which you folks are creating, becomes lost on the table for sure. So what we find across the country, there have been lots of them in Nevada, in Idaho, and California that
How
are
about
really
Montana?
pushing forward. In Montana, we got 4 that have been doing so. The closest has been very successful is Beaverhead County, but they got run over again with the cooperating agency status, and it diminished the ability to manage the Beaverhead National Forest with the local input and interest of resource management due to that process. So again, I'm not trying to dictate anything here that you folks should do. I just want to make sure that as you move forward with this growth policy on the table, very important part of what you folks do here at this advisory committee, and your input is very valuable to make sure that that language in the growth policy is instilled into that document, because that is the Bible of the county commissioners and as everything moves forward to make those decisions. If you miss that, it's not there, then it becomes a challenge to even talk about it.
Well, thank you.
In Broadwater County, where I'm from, has been dealing with the coordination issue for several years, and with Helena, Bozeman, and Missoula, most of the time sitting at the table with the collaboration, it's been a challenge. And again, I'm
How
speaking
about the
personally here.
environmental groups? Did they try to stop coordination?
Absolutely.
That's what I thought.
Absolutely. They do not want anything to do with collaboration, mostly because the collaboration aspect is to pick and choose who sits at the table.
Yes.
That if you will be a gambler in a card game, the deck is stacked before the people even hear what's going on. Then the final product is brought out from a collaboration process. Kerry White, I've known Kerry for
Yeah,
a
he
long
came
time.
to talk to us about it.
He's with Citizens for Balanced Use. In fact, I basically kind of got him started years ago in Bozeman. And Kerry has done a lot of work on the coordination process in the legislature to get that brought forward, to get it instilled in Montana law as well. But we've never lost that. It's part of the Multiple Use Sustained Yield Act. It's part of the Federal Forest Management Act. We did lose some under regulations under 219 when the language was removed for coordination. We're working continually to get that back in. But again, I'll stop right there and just say thank you for keeping in mind that if we get it in writing, you folks here at Broadway or at Granite County do have a seat at the table instead of coming in at the tail end of the process.
Good.
Thank you. And again, I apologize if I'm taking up your
That's
time.
fine.
Yeah.
We got one more.
Hi, I'm Gina Satterfield, I'm from Helena, and I can tell you right now that if you don't understand sustainable development, you really got to go and get like a Bible on it. And I'm going to tell you, because they're not going to tell you. And we have Once the nonprofits or the tax exempt come in, private-public partnerships, they become the voice, vote, and power, unconstitutional power. And then you have no say. So it's going to be in Helena that with opportunity zones, well, it's growth policy, part of the growth policy, 2/3 of our tax base is going to be gone because they don't have to pay. If they get to invest, then they're going to invest, the powers that be. Once they invest in that town, then 2/3 of our tax base is gone, and we, the taxpayers, are stuck.
So you're encouraging not to go with sustainable development in Granite County? I've studied it for 10 years, Agenda 21 and all that, so.
I highly recommend, because we are in big trouble in Helena.
Yeah, and in Oregon, it's
And,
terrible.
well, everywhere.
It's just terrible.
And
So we gotta be careful doing our growth policy. We don't wanna bring in so much regulation where we're not us anymore.
Which is why I made the comment about your growth policy is so contingent on your involvement in the
Yeah.
development of any updates and changes to that growth policy, because we're across the state working on growth policies that have been created in the early 80s, most of them, and they've been amended and changed over the years
To be more restrictive.
to fit into the sustainable development.
Yeah.
And partially, again, it really, and again, I'm going from my involvement, going clear back to the creation of the 310 law.
So,
I sat at the
excuse me,
table
so
with that.
any of those counties that you said here in Montana, their growth policy, do they have something in their growth policy now about
Some of them
coordination?
do, but some of them don't, and
Do
that's
you
part
know
of the
who
battle.
has? Because it would be something like we could look at.
Yeah.
as an
Beaverhead
example.
County is one that would have some of the stuff going back. They're the oldest county in the state of Montana that's been dealing with coordination
How about
and the
Ravalli?
growth policy being married in the discussion. Sanders County is another one,
Sanders County too?
Sanders County. But they're not as long at it, but they've moved a long ways. You know.
What is their economic, do they have farming, ranching, mining, or?
Okay,
logging, or in those
Beaverhead
areas?
County, 90% of the economy in Beaverhead County is ranching. They do have some logging and some mining, but for the most part, it's mostly ranching. Sanders County is mostly logging, if you will, with some problematic issues with hobby farming moving in, which does change the demographics of the communities. But again, you know, we just need to continue again, I'm speaking with my personal hat, just need to continue making sure that the people of Montana, through these committees, have a seat at the table before it's signed into a final document. And that's why I was kind of a pain in you guys' side for asking questions about your bylaws and your growth policies, because they are so important to have your input on them. And if somebody says, no, you can't put on that, or to be involved in that, then your county commissioners need to be having you hear from you folks and make sure that you are able to have a seat at that table.
So what's the Forest Service saying about coordination?
Many of the mine officers that have been moved up through the ranks, if you will, or on up to forest supervisors, are, for the most part, complaining about coordination, because that brings everything back to the local level, and they don't like that, because then they can't just,
We've lost power. haven't
here's
we?
my orders, I'm marching forward and thank you. And so
Excuse
we
me,
want to
Member
continue
Blaine.
pushing that if we can across Montana, and of course, across the Northwest, because it is so important to go back to local, up instead of top down.
Exactly.
And one more thing to localism, watch out, that new word, localism. It does not mean local. It means connect to global.
Yeah.
So I call them pro-glos. You know, it's not a left and right anything anymore. It's not Republican, it's not Democrat. We're talking the powers that be, being in public-private partnerships, are your globalists. So I call them pro-glos, or global citizen. So I highly recommend that you see the video of Global Citizen by great big story.
Going back to the fire service, remember Blaine asked the fire service
For comment,
about the coordination?
never got one
No.
from the attorneys.
Bill Avery, who just was moved out of the forest supervisory position of the Helena Lewis and Clark National Forest. He was in Helena there based, because those two forests combined for management. He just moved out. He was in favor of advancing coordination. The new person that moved in is absolutely mad dog against it, but that person came from Denver, main office. So again, it comes back to that top down
Top-down.
instead of bottom up. And I've seen it for 35 years as a logger. In fact, I logged in Granite County 25 years ago and was happy to see Granite County being part of the maintaining the traditional aspects of management of our resources for the benefit of the people as it is a constitutional provision. Thank you. I better.
You're doing good.
Thank you.
I was going to say localism is regionalism and regionalism is communism. So be careful.
And that one other
Thank you.
thing, what's her
Thank you
name,
for your time,
Dribble?
folks.
Dibble,
Yeah.
from, what's his name, Danes's office. I also contacted her to ask Steve Danes.
Hmm.
Still waiting for an answer there. They don't want to talk about it, apparently.
I don't think so. Let's go back to that budget real quick. So, did we agree that I'm gonna go to the commissioners
Yes.
and for how much? I said 2,000. Is that what it is?
Now, this is what, a month,
No,
Oh, a
it's
year.
a year?
Well, I think we gotta let's figure it out. What were we saying about
Don't give up
$15?
your day job, Patty.
Darn. I don't get paid for my teach.
$12 an hour or something? Remember they were saying that's what they gave
Yeah. something
Becky,
like
it's
that.
$12 an hour,
Yeah.
2 hours, maybe 3 hours a month. And then I think we should put something in about copying, you know.
Yeah, copying, but I mean, there can be other things too. There can be mileage.
Yeah,
and-
exactly.
Yeah.
So I just gonna say 2,000.
Yeah,
That sounds
okay, that sounds good.
Is that okay with you, Heidi?
Yeah, but I
Thank you.
still don't know if they can pay me, because they were saying that all the other committees, there's nobody's being paid as a secretary. So
Well, we
I-
can talk about that
Yeah.
later. I just want.
But they got
Yeah.
a budget.
But
They
you
got
have
some
something to
big
take
budgets.
to, that's all we're doing
They have budgets, and if they want to pay a secretary, they can. I mean, we're talking about, what, $50, $60, $100,000 budgets they've got?
right now. And look at who they're
So,
paying.
please.
I mean, this is an important committee.
Okay, let's do the agenda for next time.
Oh,
We're still on the secretary position. So that'll be for next time. We can skip the chair, no. We're still gonna talk about that too, right? Chair position.
yeah.
Well, yeah, it kind of depends on what Blaine finds out.
And we'll always be on the growth policy. I don't think we need to do NEPA, MEPA here, unless you guys want to.
Now that is, you know, we discuss it every time and nothing much happens, so let's
So
take
let's-
that
let's-
for now.
Let's cross that one off.
But yeah, we definitely want that in the quality.
And do we still want to discuss the bylaws more?
I want to converse with Alina, why she
Well, I
didn't
think we should
like it.
table it, because I think some good points were brought up, that when did the people get it? You know, yesterday, they really couldn't read
Okay.
into it, and
We'll table it.
2
Talk about it
people are
again.
missing, right?
So what does that mean? I mean, it will be on the agenda?
Yeah,
I'm going to call you and talk to you about what you was saying.
thank you.
I missed that.
And the next meeting is December 12th.
Try to get it right this time. That's our daughter's birthday.
December 12th? Kevin's is December 4th.
Isn't his like, something to do with, Pearl Harbor or something, the date of Pearl Harbor?
That was
December 7th.
December 7th.
Close.
Yeah.
Okay, any motion to adjourn?
Motion. first motion, second, I second.
All agree?
All right. So we could put.
Can I take this, Elena, and read it?
Yeah. Maybe Blaine will make some copies and, would you like a copy?
Sure, yeah.
Check, when we do our, updates on our, our growth policy, we could have in the natural resource deal, we could have coordination added into that in our, even our growth policy, couldn't we? Could we have that, or could we put coordination in our growth policy where the natural resource, we'll just.
This is Elena's, right?
Well, all that, you can have that.
I'm sure you understand this.
I come from a lot, we've been logging forever.
The Candices, my father worked for the Candid sawmill.
Oh,
I'm
yeah,
born and
yeah.
raised in Anaconda.
Oh, okay, so you.
So I do know exactly who you're talking about.
Okay.
Wow, small world.
Yes, it is. Well, thank you for coming today.
Well, thank you
You
folks for allowing me
encouraged
to
us
be.
know that other counties are using this.
And I've been pushing it myself.